Today I want to show you how to write the perfect introduction for an IELTS academic writing task 2, advantages and disadvantages essay. Hey guys, this is Dory. I'm a teacher of English, and today's video is what I said, a step-by-step way of paraphrasing and giving you some important phrases that you can use for advantages and disadvantages essay. We have already done the same for present and justify an opinion, discuss the causes of a problem and suggest solutions, and also discuss both sides of an argument and express your opinion if you're asked. All links of these videos are down below in the description box. So are you ready for advantages and disadvantages perfect introduction? If yes, follow me. Okay guys, here we are. Before we dive into disadvantages and advantages essays, I want to start with some useful phrases. We do this in every video. First, I give you some general phrases that we might need no matter the essay type. You can find them in every video that we have done in this series of videos so far. I'm not going to go over them again. You can pause the video, you can take a picture of them, you can note them down. But I would like to go over with you the new useful phrases for introductions when the essay type is about advantages and disadvantages. So here are some useful phrases. Again, whatever works for you, you can note them down in your notebook. You can take a picture with your phone. Let's read them together. This is a complicated issue with both negative and positive aspects that should be considered. In order to decide whether this problem that the topic talks about is beneficial, both its advantages and drawbacks must be taken into account or into consideration. Although there are some positive aspects to this situation, there are also many disadvantages that again need to be taken into account. Although this problem has, or this issue, this matter that we talk about, has many advantages, its disadvantages cannot be ignored. And lastly, while there are considerable benefits to this thing that the topic talks about, there are also drawbacks that should be taken into account. As you can see, these phrases can be combined with each other. You can mix and match. You can change words and everything because the main idea is more or less the same. And having done that, we're going to our essay type number 4, discuss advantages and disadvantages. And let's read this sample topic together. In some countries, employees are discouraged from retiring at the age of 60 and urged to remain active in the workplace for several more years. The question you could get is, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this practice. Or you could also be asked in a different way, do advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages, which is nothing really there's nothing really to confuse you here. Again, you have to discuss both advantages and disadvantages, and in the end, towards your conclusion, you should decide if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages or the other way around. Some kind of opinion, let's just say. But now we're working with the introductions, so this isn't something that you should worry about. Let's see. As I have told you many times, what we do in the introduction is nothing more but paraphrasing the topic statement. So let's see that. In some countries, employees are discouraged from retiring at the age of 60 and urged to remain active in the workplace for several more years. So I will choose to start with something general. So I will go to my general phrases here. And I will choose this phrase. Recently, there has been an increase in the number of people, whatever the topic talks about. Let's go and see the way we can do that. So recently, there has been an increase in the number of people who, that's it, exactly the same, who do what now? Let's start paraphrasing. Who keep working. Again, I changed discouraged from retiring at the age of 60. I chose to paraphrase it by giving the opposite meaning. There has been an increase in the number of people who keep working after the age of 60. I didn't paraphrase the age of 60 at all. You don't have to paraphrase each and every thing, of course. And now I have to give a reason, mostly because their employers and society force them to stay in the workforce for a few years more. So I took urged to remain active. They are urged to remain active. I did it. I basically here it's passive voice. They are urged to remain active. I took the sentence and I make it active. Who forces? Who urges them? Either their employers or, of course, society. So I took the agent, their employers and society force them. I changed the verb urged to force. Force them to stay in the workforce instead of active in the workplace. Remain active in the workplace. I did it to stay in the workforce for a few years more instead for several years. So basically, what did I do so far? I chose a general phrase to introduce my topics. I paraphrased with replacing words with synonyms, with changing the syntax a little bit. That's it. Whatever worked for me in this particular case. And I managed to do everything up until here. And now it's time for the actual question of our topic, which is about advantages and disadvantages. And now is the time that we're going to our advantages and disadvantages useful phrases, and we choose one of them. You don't need more. So what did I do? Let's recap a little bit what we're changing. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this practice. I took this phrase here. This is a complicated issue with both negative and positive aspects that should be considered thoroughly. So I'm just introducing what I'm going to do throughout my essay. I'm going to discuss advantages and disadvantages, the negative and positive aspects. This is another way of paraphrasing advantages, disadvantages. In order not to be repetitive, I chose to go with negative and positive aspects. Now, in case you have a question like that, do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Another way you could finish your introduction would be, we have stopped. This is a complicated issue with both negative and positive aspects that should be considered thoroughly. Instead of that, instead of ending it here, you could continue after putting a comma here. So I'm reading again. This is a complicated issue with both negative and positive aspects that should be considered thoroughly before deciding whether advantages outweigh the disadvantages or not. So again, you show the reader that you're going to address this question as well throughout your essay, and you show that this is not something that can be answered easily because we have both advantages and disadvantages. So basically, this is it. The only thing you do, as in all essay task types that we have seen so far, you start from the general, you paraphrase the topic, and you choose another phrase that is specifically designed for the essay type you are going to write about. And then you move on to the main body. That's it. If you practice introductions long enough, it's going to be easiest by to actually write it in a minute or so. That was it. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Until next time, thank you very much for watching and good luck with your exam.